Even a man who is pure in heart and says his prayers by night may become a wolf when the wolf-bane blooms.
The autumn moon is bright.
The wolf creature! It's out there, isn't it? You've seen it, haven't you?
A strange beast, somewhat resembling a wolf.
It's a dark and stormy night. Welcome to When the Wolfsbane Blooms. Yay. Welcome to your podcast all about werewolves and werewolf-adjacent media. You don't like that tagline, but we should come up with something else.
We should come up with something else.
Howdy, my name is Sibyl Weber. I'm here with...
Matthew Parada.
What a weird name.
Why would you... Okay. 2 seconds in.
I am a playwright. I'm an artist. I explore the parts of the unknown that we are too afraid to look at. Matt, where do you work? Target?
Now, what the fuck? You introduce yourself. Well, okay. You say artist and completely forget that I've been in like 3 of your shows that you've written. So
Matt is a cheap actor. He will
That's
do
true.
what you want
Exactly.
for no money.
Yeah. Yeah, you never paid me, and you always have my shirt off in your plays.
I will pay you for this past project.
Oh, well, I mean, you don't need to. That's crazy.
Matt is remarking about the thunder outside.
I am.
Yes, this is probably the worst time to start a podcast, but we're doing it anyways. Today we are talking about Van Helsing.
Oh, yes. Van Helsing, 2004. Did we get the director?
It was Stephen Sommers.
Was it?
And if I mess that up, I'm going to cut it. Let me look it up. I wrote it down. It was Stephen Sommers. I am a god.
There we go, yeah.
Stephen Sommers, written and directed by. And you can kind of tell that, like, there was definitely a lot of heart in this movie. Like,
Very much so.
I imagine he had a very specific vision, and I think that was carried out. So, if you are unfamiliar with us, which you probably are, this is going to be the second episode. When the Wolfsbane Blooms is a podcast all about werewolves. And so it doesn't matter how much the werewolf is in the piece of media. We are going to check it out. We are going to rate it on our own personal scales and talk about it all we want. Matt, what do you think of Van Helsing?
I personally love this movie. I've loved it since I was a kid when I watched it, and I really didn't have the most critical brain, and it was kind of just like, whoa! Monster.
It certainly benefits from not having a critical brain, I think. I think, like,
Yeah.
if you don't have your critical brain on, it's, like, almost perfect.
Yeah, it's like... It's a fun watch. It's got really good action. I mentioned it during... I'm not sure if that thunder is being picked up through the mic.
It definitely is, because I can hear it.
Yeah, it's nuts outside. It started, like, 5 minutes before we started recording.
Yeah, who knows if this will be usable, but we're going to keep going.
Well, we are going to keep going. Yeah, I said it a couple times during the movie that the atmosphere is, like, fantastic. There's so much love and care put into the set designs of everything looks creepy and ancient and lived in. It's like a fun movie to look at.
It's also just crazy melodramatic. Like,
Very.
Like, it is
very
so stylized
melodramatic.
with every single, like, beat of it. I do think some of that style and some of that atmosphere kind of gets, like, taken down with some of the action that's in there. Like, it's sort of a bit bland with how much, like, action-based it is. And, like, so none of the stakes ever feel real. None of, like, the spookiness ever really hits, like, super spooky. But, damn, is it an enjoyable film. And really, ever since I was I had the same story. I used to watch it at, like, my aunt's house, and it was like, oh, it's cool. My aunt owns cool movies, and she'll put on movies, and, oh, rad vampires and werewolves, and Hugh Jackman's so sexy, but I can't admit that yet.
I mean, especially... At the time, that's like prime Hugh Jackman.
It is prime Hugh Jackman.
What
I
is
think
this?
this
a
might
couple
be the
years after
sexiest.
X-Men?
I have no idea.
Or a couple years before, whenever it was. But like, this is just in time. I mean, he made the Wolverine face in the movie when he's pulling apart the iron bar.
It's so much.
Yeah,
It is. It's a good time. It's him with long hair. You so rarely know him with like any long hair in a movie.
Yeah.
The movie has long hair.
Not that immediately comes to mind. I feel like I'm about to be burned at the stake for this. I'm very unfamiliar with The Greatest Showman. Does he have long hair in that?
No.
He does not. Okay. I didn't think so, but I wanted
Jackman.
to say it out there. Okay.
Never seen The Greatest Showman?
No, I haven't.
I saw it once. I'm not a fan.
I've been told that by quite a few people. Despite the fact that it's very... But that's off topic.
And, I mean, we could be honest, right? We're both music theater.
Yeah,
we're theater nerds.
We
like musicals.
It's just not my favorite.
It's just, that's all right.
Because I've heard the music. I've never seen the movie.
Yeah. And I mean, I think the music would only work within the movie.
Yeah. The music outside of it, it's like listening to a Disney movie soundtrack where you need the movie to make context of the songs, but at the same point, I feel like most Disney movie songs are like iconic enough to you can just listen to them and sing along to them. I don't get that with Greatest Showman, but also I haven't seen it, so like who am I to say?
Yeah, maybe we'll review that on this podcast.
Is there a werewolf in it?
It's Hugh Jackman. That's close enough.
Yeah. Okay. The werewolf and Hugh Jackman podcast. Speaking of werewolves,
yes,
I think before we get into it, we should have some kind of explanation as to what we're rating these movies on.
Yes. So we'll get to this rating at the end, and you can compile it yourselves. But our rating system, as always, is rating it on how great of a werewolf movie it is. Mm-hmm. And so that takes into account how does the werewolf look? Does it have those sort of tropes that go with a werewolf? And is it also touching on like thematic werewolf story elements? So for films that might have a really cool looking werewolf, but the werewolf isn't very present and it's not about werewolves, I might rate that on the lower end of the spectrum. Right.
Yeah.
All right, ready? I'm gonna give a little blurb for Van Helsing. Let's explain it. I should have written this down.
Probably.
Van Helsing 2004 is an action horror film with vampires, werewolves, and way too scantily clad brides of Dracula. There's a bunch of little baby gargoyles always showing up, and a lot of goo and unidentified liquids. The Catholic Church is doing a good job, as it always does. No, go on. The film really just shows the power of God. Van Helsing has to kill Dracula. It's a very complicated plot. There's also Frankenstein. There's a lot of cool stuff. We will talk about it.
Yeah, there's so many monsters referenced.
Yeah. I did one thing as I was watching the movie, and that blurb brings me to, is I really wanted to talk about religion in like movies like this.
Yes,
specifically in this movie. Mm-hmm. You want to talk about it in this movie?
Yeah. I mean, it's present in kind of right from the beginning. At the very, very top of the movie, we have our titular Van Helsing hunting Mr. Hyde.
Yes.
Who in this movie is like this kind of like an evil Hulk.
Yeah,
he's huge.
He's very large. He has fled to Notre Dame. Mm-hmm. He's in the Notre Dame Cathedral.
Yeah, he's in the attic somewhere. He's like breaking through the support beams. And we don't realize it yet, but Van Helsing has been sent by the Vatican to go kill him. Not kill him. Bring him back to alive. Save Dr. Jekyll, but he does end up killing him. Sorry, spoiler alert.
Van Helsing, he loves him a little bit of murder.
Yeah, he does. He hates bringing people in alive.
I'm gonna write a reminder to do a spoiler alert for Van Helsing.
Great, yeah.
What if people just don't want to be spoiled on Van Helsing?
Yeah, I mean, well, they are kind of 21 years late. It's over 2 decades old.
Yeah, and?
Okay, fair enough.
Sometimes you can't see a movie.
Okay, fair. But yeah, no, he gets sent after Dr. Jekyll / Mr. Hyde by the Vatican and ends up going back to the Vatican, and there's this whole bit where they go beneath the Vatican, and there's science stuff and experimentation and machinery and so on, so forth that is being used to hunt monsters by order of the Catholic Church. And throughout the entire movie, there's so many, like, religious motifs and using some kind of religious or Catholic-related thing to defeat the monsters. Like, very early on, one of the brides of Dracula is, like, regenerating after being hit by arrow after arrow after arrow, and there's this little bit of, like, shoot her in the heart, maybe that will work, and she pulls an arrow right out of her heart, and it's like, that won't work. But then he dips the crossbow into holy water, and all of a sudden that just melts her.
Yeah, I mean, it's holy water and vampires. And that's something that is so, like, prevalent in the genre. Like, it's part of the things that kill vampires. And to a lesser extent werewolves. Like, rarely is it, like, I imagine they'd follow the same rules, but really it's only the silver bullet that gets brought up so much. But with vampires, you got the cross, you got holy water. So many religious things are supposed to keep them at bay.
Oh, yeah, the crucifix. I totally forgot about that.
Yeah, of course. But what I think is funny is how movies, now that we're a culture that is less sort of ingrained with religion as much, how that sort of deals with those elements. Like, do you make a vampire vulnerable to a cross? Right? And in this movie, it went heavy-handed. It went, God's real. Here we go.
Very much
so. The Catholic Church is in the right.
I mean, right from the get-go, the entire plot is based on this whole family lineage will not go to heaven unless you go kill Dracula.
They do the classic, like... well, good job, Lightning. They do the classic sergeant and a police officer of, like, God damn it, you do good work, but your methods can't be controlled. Van Helsing, you crashed through the window of Notre Dame.
You sent a man flying off the roof.
However, they do this as a bishop in a confession booth. And then that confession booth, a wall disappears, and then they go down a staircase, and then they're in this underground lair. It's insane.
Yeah. And especially with, like, I think at one point there's even, like, they pull up a film, like, I don't know what time period this movie is set in, but it
says it exactly. The first bit, this is a great part. The movie opens 1887.
1887.
And because it's old times, right? Black and white. We get Frankenstein's monster being created. But there's a little bit of twist. Dracula's involved with it.
Yeah.
And we get the windmill scene from the 1941 Frankenstein, where Frankenstein's on top and it's burning. And I do really like the moment where Frankenstein's monster just, like, calls out, first word he's ever said is, "Why?" It's great, cool. But with that, it then goes 1 year later. So the plot takes place in 1888, and then it's no longer black and white.
No. It's like... It's fine. We got our flashback. We got our black and white out of the way. And
I mean, it's a motif, the 1941's Frankenstein.
Yes.
So it's great.
It's fun.
But it is just funny that it's like a year later.
That is just 1 year later. But okay, never mind. That's a lot later than I thought it would be. So, like, I guess a film makes sense. But just to have a film camera beneath the Vatican playing videos of, like, historical vampire...
Yeah, it was photos, though.
Yeah.
It was like one photo, just like a projector slide.
Yeah, like
I've prepared this.
A film projector of, like, that's so funny to be beneath the Vatican. I don't know. It struck me as so silly.
It's so... Like, this movie is so, like, we're going to do everything as silly as possible, like... unapologetically, like, here's a crossbow with a, like, spinny, like, rack
millions
of
of bolts that you reload like a...
It fires so fast. Like, what is cocking back that crossbow? Like, what?
Oh my god!
I've fired a crossbow before. I've killed an
so
animal
have I.
It's like,
that is a whole process.
It's great.
Yeah. But you know what? It sure does make for a really cool action scene.
As he's just firing, spraying, and praying with a crossbow.
With a crossbow, and not only misses all the targets, but manages to miss one of the other main characters,
Anna.
Anna. You threw your hands in the air while we were watching it. Like, he's just shooting at her at this point.
She's being held by these vampire brides, and he's just shooting willy-nilly, always missing. Like, he's not getting good shots in, and he's still like she's right there.
Yeah. The funny part of that is, too, he knows who that is. And that's the person he's been sent to make sure she survives.
Yeah, so there's these two little kidlets that are the descendant of this vampire hunting family. The first one's name was Velkan.
Yes.
So it's Velkan and Anna. And these two need to kill Dracula within their lifetime, or everyone in their ancestral line goes to hell.
Yes.
They don't get to enter the gates
Not
of
to
St.
hell,
Peter.
to purgatory. That they're just trapped there forever. They don't go anywhere. They're just stuck. By the end of this podcast, we all die. We all become werewolves and we die.
Did I ever? I once was gonna write a sketch with one of my friends. It was actually like a short film. Like, we were gonna try and do this seriously.
Yeah.
And I think in the end we decided not to do werewolves, just like sort of like slightly different creature things. But it's about like transformation, and it's like they come to this creepy cabin and something attacks them, and slowly they're all starting to turn to these horrific monsters, and they're like, and their eyes are getting all messed up and their claws are getting longer and they're freaking out, and it goes on and goes on. It's like body horror type stuff. And then towards the end, like, one of them sees the other people and what they've all turned into and looks at them and they goes, guys, we're normal now. And then they all look up and the earth can be seen.
What? What?
So they're not on Earth, they're on an alien planet.
Oh,
and
my.
everyone looks like that there. That's the end of a Goosebumps episode.
Oh.
And one of my favorites.
Oh my God.
It's such a funny, like, just to do a very serious plot and to end it with, we're normal now.
It is so foolish.
That's good. I like being a little fool.
That's silly.
There's nothing I love more than ruining plots. Like, setting everything up to be one way and then just completely, like, the subversion of a subversion in comedy that's, like, totally against rules of improv. To be like, no.
I mean, we're going to get into it at some point eventually,
Yeah,
but
we'll
I feel
talk.
like that's half of Are You Afraid of Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark?
That was a comedy sketch show I wrote. Mm-hmm. We performed. It was a good one. I just recently saw a play in Fringe that had like two characters trying improv for the first time, and it was not a funny play, but just this moment, it was like, you know, just like, all right, ask me for a suggestion. I was like, what? Yeah. So just ask me for a suggestion. And I'm like, okay, a suggestion. Then she's like, toilet. And now do a scene with that. I'm like, what the? All right. Hi. Hi.
That's...
And then it's like,
Goodness, okay.
do you want to sit on my toilet? And then
That's a pickup line.
And the other person goes, no. She goes, all right. And that's it.
I'm sorry, if somebody asked me if I want to sit on their toilet, I don't know.
You want to sit on my toilet?
No.
There you go. All right.
I was waiting for you to do that. You set up the joke perfectly.
I'm sorry, my bad.
Oh my God, where were we?
All right, let's talk werewolves, Matthew.
Werewolves. Yes.
You suggested this movie.
Yes, I did. I suggested this movie because the last time I watched it was years ago, and I was fully convinced that this movie had like the perfect depiction of a werewolf. And
you were proved right. You love it. 10 out of 10.
No. Hold.
Only gripe from me, they don't have tails.
They don't. And okay, this is a point of interest. I don't think werewolves should have tails.
And you were wrong about that.
You're wrong that they should.
Why shouldn't they have tails?
Because...
Why would they transform? They get ears, they get claws, they get fur. Just tails, they stop.
I
Their
don't know.
skin peels off
Yeah.
to reveal
And
a wolf-like form beneath it.
But it's like half man, half wolf.
That's way more man than it is wolf.
That's so untrue.
That's not untrue.
If it was more man, it wouldn't have a snout. or big pointy ears.
True, but it
would look like Teen Wolf.
Everything else, it's got like the typical forearm structure. It's bipedal.
Yeah. So okay, I think I said this beforehand. The perfect idea of my perfect idea of a werewolf is wolf software on human hardware. And some people are going to get that, and some people aren't, and some people are going to furrow their brow and be like, what the fuck is he talking about?
I don't think so. I mean, that's easy.
But, like, that's
stupid, though.
But that's what makes sense to me.
Why would you have a snout, then?
Why? Well, because...
That's hardware.
That we're excluding that.
You are a crazy bastard.
Listen, I'm trying to figure out any kind of way that I can possibly defend myself.
That werewolf is just going to fall over without that tail.
That's so untrue.
It's just going to fall over.
That's a lie. No.
And it's not going to look as cool. It's going to look like a big monkey.
But most of the time, that's what a person is.
Yeah, I don't like them.
Well, that's not a reason to give it a tail.
Here.
Okay. Regardless, tails. They don't have tails, and I think that's a point in favor of the perfect werewolf. But there are... Okay, let's talk about the positives of this werewolf first. I feel like that's a good place to start.
When do we first see it?
We first see it about a half hour into the movie. Yeah.
I'd say probably like 20.
Okay, roughly at the beginning of the movie.
Yeah. It's
when this quote-unquote wild werewolf attacks the two siblings that Sibyl mentioned earlier. And through dialogue, we learn that it was sent by Dracula to go kill them. And it looks like a fairly stereotypical werewolf. Humanoid body, big wolf-like head, big pointy ears, big tooth-filled snout. I think the first one is like a light gray color, and they differentiate all of the werewolves by like the color of their hair as a person. So Velkin gets bit and turns into a werewolf, and he's like a reddish brown werewolf because his hair is like a reddish brown. And Van Helsing,
so sexy.
What?
Can we talk about how sexy Velkin is?
Oh my god, it's crazy.
When we first see him and he is pretending to be tied to a post, my god.
Oh my god. Like the hands bound and everything. Go.
He's bound. He's gonna get eaten by the werewolf.
I mean, he just remains sexy throughout the movie.
He's so hot.
He's shirtless so much of the time, and I think he has some of the best werewolf transformations. Like rubbing his chest. It's so erotic.
Oh, it's so erotic.
Good.
The
whole movie is so erotic. But yeah, he's like that ruddy brown, and then Van Helsing, who has like almost black hair, is a black werewolf, and so I don't think we ever see the human form of that first werewolf. But regardless,
no, it's very odd because then that werewolf is also like tied up in like it's chained in Dracula's castle. They don't do anything with him.
No, that's not that werewolf, because that scene happens after. That's Velkin.
Is that Velkin?
Yes, it's Velkin, because that's after the two of them fall, and that werewolf gets shot in the chest. Because
you're so right.
Yeah, and that's alluding to the fact that Velkin turned into a werewolf. At the time, I'm assuming it's supposed to be like, oh, the werewolf survived, or Dracula has another werewolf in his castle.
It got me.
But yeah, I mean, yeah, see? It works. But no, yeah, that's Velkin. Because then Velkin is the one to take the place of that werewolf under Dracula's control. Which, another thing we should mention, in this world, in the lore of this world, werewolves are under Dracula's control. He created them somehow.
I mean, I'm not sure it's that specific. Like, I don't, like, there was nothing about, like, him creating werewolves. Mm-hmm. There was a thing, like, a big point that, like, gets revealed towards the end of the plot is that the only way to kill Dracula is a werewolf to kill Dracula. Which is weird. He gets staked through the heart at one point.
Yeah.
It's like, you can't kill Dracula with a stake through the heart. It's like, all right. How do you kill this guy? And it's with a werewolf. Like, I think it might just be, like, the willpower of, like, werewolves. Dracula talks at one point, he's like, it's so hard with a werewolf on their first night. So hard to control.
Good voice.
Thank you.
Of course. Yeah, it maybe he didn't create them, but they are to a degree under his control.
It seems like he can manipulate them.
Or yes, manipulate. That's a better word.
Yeah.
But yeah, then they're instrumental in like killing him.
Yeah.
You would think that if
except Van Helsing, because it's like Dracula has the cure for a werewolf. Mm-hmm. Doesn't ever explain where he got it because a werewolf could kill him. So all the other werewolves, he's like, rad. Like, they're easy to manipulate. They don't got a lot of willpower. I can just tell them what to do. When Van Helsing turns, he immediately attacks Dracula. He's like, oh, shit, no. And that's just about it. But yeah, they are under his control. They get sent out. Very interesting.
See, that also raises the question of Dracula did not know that his werewolf antidote had been stolen at that point. Mm-hmm. So as soon as he sees Van Helsing trying to kill him, why would he not leave the tower to go get the antidote?
It's not like close at hand. It's also
he just continues to beef with him, and I'm like, this is the one thing that can kill you. Get out of there. Go get your thing. Which obviously it's not there anymore because the rest of the plot happened. But it like, yeah, you don't have your end. If I were him, I would have been carrying that thing in like a holster on my belt of just, werewolf trying to kill me. Watcha! Werewolf antidote.
Instead of keeping it in its own specific
and like
room.
The Beauty and the Beast rose thing.
That you can lock the room from the outside with a lever that like is also the cure is encased in this solid like glass, but it's not a solid glass because if you reach into it, it's viscous liquid and it's like super acidic. So acidic to the point that it burns one of Dracula's brides.
And burns a hole through like a wrought iron gate.
It does, yeah. It burns that wrought iron gate. And it's like, so how is Dracula getting that out?
Yeah. Because, I mean, we see that he can regenerate. And I mean, even his bride who gets splashed with it regenerates. Yeah. So I guess he could say, but why do that of like, I'm going to get horribly burned as I get this antidote for the werewolf that's currently chasing my ass through my own house.
Good time.
But
what a spooky episode this is.
This is a spooky
So
episode.
much lightning and thunder.
So atmospheric.
Ooh, wow. Sounds like I've put them in post.
What? No,
I'm telling you, from the headphones that I'm wearing,
does
it
sound
sounds like
that?
I'm putting it in post.
That's kind of crazy.
It's very nice.
I'm very excited to hear it afterward because like it's wild. It's all around. I'm not doing a better job to sell that it's real.
Let me tell you, this is real thunder. Good.
Yeah, guys, trust me, this is totally real.
Look at where
thunder.
I'm pointing.
So, Source, trust me.
All right.
Yeah.
So, werewolf transformations, right?
Oh, God, yeah.
Velkin stops in, checks in on Anna. It's like, hey, Anna, what's going on? Like, I'm Velkin, and you need to fucking run. Kill me, please.
Yes.
And she's like, no, my brother, you're still alive. And then he turns into a werewolf in front of her.
Yeah.
Great thing. He was already a werewolf before that. Mm-hmm. And then clouds go over the moon. And then he turns back into human form, and he has a shirt on. He's got a shirt and pants on.
Yep.
And then he transforms.
So, it's an instant point right there. Werewolf cliche of ripping the shirt off.
Oh, I love it.
Oh my goodness.
But one specific thing I do want to talk about is not only like that transformation, right? He rips his shirt off. He starts transforming. He's screaming. He's doing the and then he starts like going up a wall, just climbing
backwards,
magically up a wall.
wall.
It's not like he's sticking his fingers in the wall. He's just like Nightmare on Elm Streeting it.
He's like Spider-Manning up the wall, but not even like as his human form as he screams in agony. He kind of just like Tobey Maguire's up the wall.
Yeah, he's still transforming. But then we later see Velkin untransformed at Dracula's castle. And it's repeated at later points in the movie. But when he loses his clothes, don't worry, because he's left with a nice little underwear of wolf skin.
Yeah!
He's just like almost a caveman. He's just got like some.
Oh my God.
And this happens exactly with Van Helsing as well.
Yeah.
Where it's like werewolves are so scared of that nudity.
They cannot break the PG-13 rating.
Biologically, they have built in that they keep this underwear on.
Oh my God. So, speaking of the transformation, can we talk about ripping whatever skin, because it's the same for transformations both ways, of the outer skin gets ripped off to become the other form. Can we talk about the human skin being ripped off like it's a... Oh, what are those called?
A costume?
Yes, just a morph suit. The skin comes off like a morph suit. I mean, during the first transformation, he, like, rips into the middle of his chest, and you can see the skin of one of his breasts kind of, like, start to flap off like it's made of this, like, tarp, and you can see his nipple just go with the rest of the skin as it gets I think it's hilarious watching the skin kind of just be ripped off, like, oh yes, my outer shell, actually.
Yeah, it's something that happens in quite a few werewolf movies.
Yeah.
And it's something... What's your opinion on it? You like the skin?
I do to a degree. I like when it's more... I don't want to say gory, but when it, like... I do like the visuals of this movie. I feel very nostalgic about them. But the skin, specifically going from human into werewolf, the human skin coming off feels too much like paper or rubber. And it kind of takes me out a little bit. Not that much, but like there are other werewolf movies where like the skin comes off and it's like in clumps and it's like bloody and pulling away from the hair, and like that's I really like that. I really enjoy that. I think that's really fun. It also adds into like the pain of transforming into a werewolf. Your entire body is changing, whereas this, I mean, they look like they are in pain, but then the skin kind of just flubbers off of them, and it's like, oh.
I mean, I'm sure that'd be painful.
Yeah,
it
definitely would be painful. It's just.
Do you think the creations of Robin Williams and Flubber would feel pain?
Do you think the creations in Robin Williams' Flubber could be infected with lycanthropy?
No. You're just being silly now.
I don't know.
That's not real.
Do you know what else isn't real? But
the moon landing.
No, not okay.
All right.
But
picking on me.
This I will pick on you. The transformation is it's very fun.
I think it's also when the wolf goes back to human, it rips off its skin.
It also does that.
But there was a second transformation that didn't have Velkin ripping off his skin. Mm-hmm. It was very interesting. And so, like, it comes to mind of, like, this, on the first full moon, that's when that, like, initial, like, monster curse happens. Because it also, like, talked about, like, cementing in this curse after the full moon, the stroke of midnight. Mm-hmm. So I guess that was a neat way to show it.
Yeah. Kind of like that the two aren't one yet. Like, this wolf and this human still, or the wolf form and the human form, are still separate in that they are ripping each other off to become the other one. Whereas, later on he kind of just, like, swaps between the two, like it's second nature.
Yeah, I don't think we see another werewolf going back. But...
No. Yes, we do. At the very end when Van Helsing transforms and he's howling.
But that's Van Helsing's first time.
That is true. Yeah. That's very true.
And he was just injected with the curse.
Yeah.
Remover thing.
Oh, right. That's the antidote moment. Mm-hmm. That is the antidote moment, so that also makes sense. Okay, then it's not that explicit. I mean, we've kind of pieced together, like, oh, this must be this. But I think it works.
I mean, the movie does it with werewolves. It's got Frankenstein's monster. It's got Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, which I'm a fan of. I love me some Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. Yes. We're definitely going to cover some Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde movies as, like, other types of transformations at some point. And in this version of them, it's a silly version. But I can get behind it as it's like, all right, a year. It's been years after he's escaped from Britain. That means he's bigger because he's more evil, blah, blah, blah. Mm-hmm. in terms of werewolves, fantastic. And they were always just like introducing different things, right? Dracula's teeth weren't always just normal vampire teeth. Sometimes they were always sharp. He would like disappear into this goo in his wall sometimes.
That was the
that was his castle.
Yep. That was also the ice door that we saw early.
The ice door.
Yeah, the ice mirror that they have to walk through.
Yeah. That's just a normal mirror, and on the other side it was cold.
Well, yeah, but we see them melding into like an ice wall.
I don't think it's really ice.
Oh well,
I think it's
fair
just
enough.
a mirror.
Then I'm just getting confused. But no, yeah, they do.
And then of course everyone's favorite, the dwergi.
We need to research that. Okay, so
Matt is researching now.
I am
You can
doing
hear
that right
him
now.
researching.
Looking up dwergi just in Google pulls up Van Helsing.
Okay. So the dwergi were Dracula's servants in this.
Yes.
They wore these like masks and goggles and were like fully suited up. At one point,
Okay.
Yeah.
So
go for it.
I knew I heard something familiar before. They're borrowed from German folklore where they're actually like evil dwarves, which D&D Underdark dwarves are called dwergar.
You fucking loser.
I
You're
heard
a nerd.
dwergi and I was
you
like
Dungeons and Dragons.
but that's exactly what they are. They were like evil dwarves
I would
because
never
they're
play that.
they're significantly shorter than Van Helsing or Dracula, and they all kind of just what does Anna say? It's best to kill them before they get to you because they'll do worse things than kill you. And
I just remember they're industrious but violent.
yes, industrious but violent is how they're initially described as well. And yeah,
Van Helsing pulls off like half the mask of one of them and it's just got a bunch of teeth.
Yeah, it's got teeth. It's got like these big glowing eyes. Or they weren't big. They were little, but they were glowing. And it's just like a little freaky thing.
Little dwergi.
And twice they took a dip in the vat of mysterious liquid.
There's so much goo in this movie.
There's so much goo in this movie.
Look, it had as much goo in it as Revenge of the Nerds.
That's a foolish reference.
There's fucking Nickelodeon slime down in there.
It was no, there was so much Nickelodeon slime throughout this entire movie. All of Dracula's children.
Would you get slimed?
Would I get slimed?
If they brought you a Nickelodeon, they were like, Kids' Choice Awards. You get the kids chose you, they like you the most.
Are you saying, like, would I willingly get slimed? Or if I went on Nickelodeon, would I be the person to get slimed?
Would you be willing to get slimed? They'd tell you beforehand.
I guess so.
I think they're not warning people that they're about to get slimed.
Maybe.
You think they didn't warn Katy Perry
Maybe.
before they put her in that rocket?
I mean,
and sent her to the
they could
moon?
be like, hey, hello, famous celebrity. You're going to get slimed at some point during this show.
No.
And just send them out there, and it's like,
Oh no, they get slimed.
yeah, like. But
Matt,
that was
why aren't you
that was
talking
everyone
about
in this
werewolves
movie.
right now?
Everyone was getting slimed.
What are you doing?
Talking about the
What are you
slime.
doing? Stop talking about it.
All right, werewolves.
Werewolf.
What else can we talk about with the silver bullets? Very quickly brought up the idea of silver or specifically silver bullets harms them in some way that nothing else really can.
It's the only way to kill a werewolf, my man.
We see it work with the initial werewolf when Velkin shoots it, and the two of them go over the cliff, and it presumably dies.
Everyone else is shooting it with normal guns. He goes,
Yeah,
no,
and
give
it
me
just-
my gun.
Yeah,
My
it's
gun's
just
got a
like
bullet in
eating
it."
bullets after bullet after bullet, and it's like, no, we need the silver bullet to kill it. Which we've talked about why silver is so like the antithesis of these evil monsters, the weakness of these evil monsters. Of like, silver is this pure metal, and it was seen as pure during like the Dark Ages, and so something so pure must be the counter to these evil entities, whether that be, vampires or werewolves or demons or ghosts or whatever, or what have you.
Yeah, but we're talking in the real world, man. How do you kill a real werewolf? And you gotta use silver. And it's not because it's pure, my man.
Yeah, so what about silver kills a werewolf?
It's just the number of protons in it, I think.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
It just reacts volatilely.
It's just special.
Yeah.
Same with like an antidote. You know, it just fits.
It just fits. No explanation.
There's no, like, come on.
We don't even know what that antidote was.
Circling back to, like, the idea of, like, religion like, some of these, the, like, explanations that some media have for, like, the classic vampire weaknesses when they don't want to be like, well, I don't want to just be like, Christians are right in this world.
Yeah.
Like, this proves God's existence. Because that's a lot to do. One book I read, Midnight Mass.
Yes.
It just goes, yeah. It works. No other religious iconography works. Only Christian.
Oh my
and
God.
the like rabbi is just like, man, that sucks.
Yep.
Speaking of Midnight Mass, that book is the worst piece of shit I have ever read.
Really?
That book sucks.
Oh my God. Is it related to Mike Flanagan's Midnight Mass?
Yeah,
It's
the
okay.
book it's based on.
I love that show.
Yeah, the book sucks.
Does it really? I'll need to read it. I want to
No, stay away. It
I
sucks.
guess, okay.
It's
I was going to
sexist,
compare the
it's
two because,
racist.
like, Midnight Mass
fucking
is
bad.
one of my favorite things. Alas, we'll talk about vampires and transformations in another episode.
Yes. In
but-
Castlevania, the animated series,
Yes.
it brings up like crosses and like whatever, and it's in an episode in like season 3. It's like a cross. You're like, why would a cross work on a Buddhist vampire? Like, why would this work? And it's like, it's actually like simple shapes, like because of like the bestial whatever parts their mind and pattern recognition. It like throws them off guard, being like thrust in their face.
Yeah.
Which I thought was a pretty fun explanation.
I think that's really fun. I'm also a very big fan of Castlevania. I think a lot of that lore is really, really fun. And
well, let me tell you, in this podcast, we're going to play maybe 13 of those games.
I would love to. I've actually never played any of the games. I'm just a really big fan
You've
of...
never played any of the games?
No,
I'm going to sit right by you, and I'm going to force you to.
You know what? That makes sense.
You're going to sit through Simon's Quest, and you're going to cry.
I probably will.
You're going to be like, this is fucking hard and long, and I don't know what to do. And I'm like, easy, kneel down next to this wall, and then a tornado will come get you.
What? Okay. We'll save that for when that happens, because that makes no sense, and I'm assuming I'll get context for it later.
No.
But...
There's no context in that
when
game.
I play the game,
You won't
Sibyl.
get context, my man.
Well, okay. Regardless, what other good qualities can we bring up about this werewolf? We've gone over, it has a weakness to silver. It looks pretty stereotypically like how one would imagine a fantasy werewolf. Oh, the trope of fighting with the good and evil. Like the werewolf side being rageful and mean and violent, and the fight to hold on to one's humanity it's very melodramatic, as you mentioned earlier. But I think it's done quite well, especially for like how short of a time we have. Like Van Helsing is only a quote unquote werewolf for the last fourth of the movie.
Yeah, it's not a long time.
But I think it's done quite well. Already we see this previously established, like, calm, rational person is becoming irrational, is becoming violent, is leading with his, like, forward aggressive
he's being
emotion.
so much of a man.
I
He's being so much, I'm angry.
He's
And
being
it's-
so masculine.
I mean, it's so often that, like, werewolves are a very sort of, like, masculine thing in movies, where it's just like, here's
Very
this
much
macho
so.
guy, and he can't control the anger sometimes. Isn't that rough? And it's like, I mean, I guess. And,
Yeah.
you know, it was handled fine in this movie, but it's the same thing of sometimes, you know, you get angry. It's like, all right, we get it, man. You're a werewolf. It's
Yeah.
all right. Couldn't you be a cool werewolf?
Could you, like, calm the fuck down? We're having cheese over here,
Couldn't
man.
you go
Do you wanna
kill
just, like,
Dracula? Be like Frankenstein's monster and be like, I want to live.
Yeah, instead of being all mean and bitey and angry and, like,
Yeah.
killing your would-be
Mean and
girlfriend.
bitey and angry sounds like my ex.
That's a crazy... Fucked. Oh god.
When I get in front of a microphone, I think I turn into like a 17-year-old.
Yeah, I feel like that's very true. It's very funny. I can't wait for you to have to like scrub all this audio later.
Like, I'll clean it. I'll clean up all your ums. All right,
Yes.
let's talk ratings.
Oh, yes. Okay.
All right, so we got to sum up this movie. Mm-hmm. We got to take into account everything with it. Mm-hmm. Right? Is this the perfect werewolf movie? That's the question we got to ask.
So, I thought I would be coming out strong, swinging with Van Helsing. However, now I'm going to rescind that. I'm going to take that back because I don't believe it's perfect.
Oh, it's certainly not perfect.
It's definitely not. It has really great tropes. It has really good ideas. I think it does a lot of what makes a werewolf well. It just doesn't perfectly nail it on the head. It gets so close, and it puts a little spin on it that works in this world, which is fun. There's nothing wrong with like putting... That's another thing, that if a werewolf really derives from the quote-unquote lore of a werewolf, or what people generally accept from a werewolf, I don't think that detracts from it being a werewolf, or the virtue of it being a good werewolf. But for the sake of our rating, derivatives bring it down.
What? So you're saying if it's like werewolf lore?
So, we're rating werewolves on how werewolfy they are. About, like, if you had to show someone a werewolf for the very first time, what would be the best example? Something that is derivative of that wouldn't be a good example, would probably get a lower rating, but that doesn't mean it's a bad werewolf. So, like, if I have a werewolf that has... I don't know. Like, it looks nothing like what a typical werewolf would look like. It's totally human. It doesn't have much fur. Maybe there's like fur along its back. It's got like extra fingers, and maybe it has 4 eyes and like a forked tongue.
It's the manster.
Yeah, like just... but I still call it a werewolf. If it fits in the world and it serves the purpose of a werewolf, I don't think that makes it a bad werewolf. It's just not a good example of what is the perfect werewolf.
Yeah, it's not your idea of a perfect werewolf, and it's not going to be the perfect werewolf movie.
Yes. Especially to explain to someone who has, like, theoretically never even heard of a werewolf.
No.
To get the perfect, like, just single image of, this is a werewolf.
All right, so what's your rating? I
give this, out of 5, I will give it a 4.
Wow.
I could be convinced. How deep into decimals do we want to get? A 3.62275.
I'll give you 0.5s.
0.5's cool. I could argue bring it down to a 3.5. But I think 3.5 and 4 is my range of where I want to put this movie.
Now, what are the things that bring it up?
So, we have weakness to silver. We have generally
and not only silver bullets.
Silver bullets, specifically silver bullets, is really good. I think that's a really good tick in favor of werewolf. Connection to the full moon is another tick. And if I pointed at a picture of the werewolf from this movie, I think anybody with media knowledge would be able to say, that's a werewolf. That's pretty fairly standardly a werewolf.
But say you take the whole movie. Mm-hmm. Is this the perfect werewolf movie?
No.
Or does it just feature an interpretation of a werewolf that you think is nice?
This really just features an interpretation of a werewolf that I think is nice. Mm-hmm. I get what you mean now. So then I think we do need to bump it down a little bit.
What would you bump it down to?
Maybe like a 2.5 or a 3. I'll bump it down a whole point.
Right.
like a 2.5 to a 3, because it does have a nice werewolf.
Well, which one? Pick one, stupid.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I don't mean to be mean.
I'm gonna...
Oh my god, he turned into a werewolf!
My shirt is ripping off!
Oh my god. I could to imagine you ripping off your shirt. I could never.
You see, that's funny, because it's happened before in this exact context.
Yeah, when I was alone with him in a room.
No! It was during the show mentioned earlier that we'll talk about in a later episode.
I don't remember that.
There's video evidence of it. I don't want to hear you.
Okay.
I am going to say 3. I'm going to be generous. Because it is fun, and werewolves do play quite a big part of this movie, despite the fact that it's primarily more of like a monster hunter vampire movie. Werewolves play a big part of it. I think the werewolves are done quite well. I think they're integrated quite well. I think they work decently well with the lore of the world that is established within it. And for what screen time they get, I think it's a really good depiction and a good movie to represent, like, yeah, these are werewolves, and these are how people imagine werewolves, and these are how people react to werewolves. Because it's not only the werewolf itself, it's how do people respond to that, and it's frequently a response of, that is an evil thing, that is a scary thing, that is something that, at the beginning, they're trying to trap one werewolf, and you have 25 well-armed men and the 2 siblings who are monster hunters, and even then, they struggle to even get it into a cage. It's a very good show of these are dangerous, very capable creatures. Where I think it falters... Oh boy. I mentioned that there is a connection to the full moon. The transformation is not linked to the full moon. It seems throughout the movie that so long as it's night, the werewolf can transform. And the only
day with clouds.
Or day with clouds. Which is another thing, because technically sunlight is still, like, coming through. It's still light.
I mean, that's the same thing with, like...
With the vampires,
that's a trope that's
too.
Been done a lot with, like, werewolf, whatever, where it's like, the cloud moves past the moon,
and it's like,
now here's the moon.
The light is still...
And it's like, that's a cool shot.
But,
there's a comedy sketch about werewolves that I should bring into this one day.
Yeah. We'll get to that.
That I've seen before. That's about that.
Yeah, which I think that's a little bit silly. I mean, it's very cinematic.
Yeah, okay,
I will give them credit. It is very cinematic, especially at the end when, like, the clouds phase out and Hugh Jackman's head comes up and he bursts into a werewolf. That's really fun. It's a really cool shot. Just having that connection, like, they transform while the full moon is on them. But then seemingly they can just transform at any time during the day while the clouds are out. So what is the rule of when a werewolf can transform?
I also think all the back and forth of, like, a cloud covering it makes you turn back. It's like, well, then why doesn't going indoors keep you not transformed?
Yeah, that's another thing. Of just avoid the windows. It's a little bit convoluted, but that's not like a fault of just this movie. That's something through a lot of media, which is something that we can discuss at some other point of...
No, I don't think we'll ever get to it.
No, we'll never actually get to it.
We don't like talking about werewolves.
Yeah, no, we actually hate doing that. But yeah, just the fact that the full moon is just used as like after the first full moon, once infected, the curse will fully take over. And that's it. That's really the only thing that a full moon has to do with the werewolf.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
I rate it 2.5.
Heard. Okay, so you've taken the lower one. What are your points?
It doesn't have a tail. So it doesn't have a tail.
Is that why the 0.5 got taken off?
Maybe
You and that tail.
No, but I do think it's a fine interpretation of a werewolf.
Yeah.
I think it's cool. It's like mostly bipedal. It's got the snout. It's what I sort of like go to when I think of a werewolf. And I once sat down with a conversation with my mom talking about werewolves, and she was like, no, werewolves don't have snouts. Like, it's very weird that they have snouts. Like, the first time, like, it was really, like, often that they had snouts was an American Werewolf in London. And she, we talked about it. And, I mean, that's for movies. But I think Van Helsing does a lot well. I think it's weird how well lit the werewolves are a lot of the time. And they look a bit silly when they're just exposed in daylight. And like the ears have a slightly like really high placement that's a bit odd.
They do. I also wanted to talk about that. Those ears are so unwolf-like.
Yeah.
They almost look like... This might just be me. They almost look like insect antenna. They're so thin and so tall and so...
I would think of
pointed
like
at the end.
Batman.
They also look very much like Batman.
Yeah.
But it's weird. Yeah, they don't look like wolf ears at all. They're so long and pointy.
So, not perfect, not terrible, but I think where it really loses like most of the points is the fact that it's not a werewolf movie.
Yes.
And like their place in the story really doesn't touch on much of like what a werewolf is and like the struggle between like bestial versus civil. Any of that is very, very loosely touched on. Like there's a bit with Van Helsing, but it's really just
we
like
see
I
it
gotta stop being a werewolf, man.
Yeah, we see it shown, but we never get any... Yeah, I mean, that's the virtue of... And not the virtue, that's the downfall of it not being a werewolf movie. It's just werewolves are kind of put in as a plot device almost. Mm-hmm. And, like, yeah, there's a little touch on every bit of those, but nothing too in-depth, especially... I feel like even with the vampires in the movie, nothing really goes in-depth about what they are and how they operate.
Yeah.
Which... leads me to a point that I really want to talk about the vampires, but has nothing to do with werewolves.
Go for it. You don't need to.
Just so there's this whole plot point of Dracula and his brides have created thousands of these vampire spawn.
Yeah, his little baby gargoyle vampire babies.
That look nothing like either parent,
Yes,
and
they do.
none of them share anatomy.
Yes, they do.
Okay, no, we need a...
When you got
hold
the
on.
brides in their bat forms, it makes sense that you got little bat babies.
But no, that's what I'm talking about. The bat forms don't look... All three bat forms don't look alike. The brides don't look like Dracula, and neither of them look like the babies. Because the babies look like what we would traditionally call a gargoyle. Like these little rat creature bodies.
They're babies.
Okay, hold on.
They gotta grow up.
No, pause for a second.
Maybe they'll look like their papa.
Pause! 1 second. They have these like little rat bodies, and they have these big long tails, and they have these little like bat wings coming out of their back, and they have these like rat bat looking heads. Sure. The brides of Dracula have pretty humanoid bodies with these very long digits like clawed fingers and toes, and just have these amorphous wings. There's no bone in them. There's like, with a bat's wings, you can see the fingers spread out throughout the wing. That's how a bat's wing operates. It's really long, derived fingers with skin stretched through them. It's like a giant hand.
Yeah.
The brides of Dracula just kind of have these flaps of skin with no bone or anything that just kind of like flopple everywhere to get them flying.
Yeah.
But then Dracula also doesn't have stuff like that. He has different wings.
I really wasn't looking at the finger bones, I'm gonna be honest.
I was looking at all of them because, like, the anatomy of a creature, especially fantasy creatures, when you put a lot of thought into the anatomy of a fantasy creature, it makes me very happy. I love when a lot of thought is put into...
Yeah, I bet you put a lot of thought into the anatomy of fantasy creatures.
Shut the fuck up. I'm talking about, like, the best example that I could use is the dragons in Game of Thrones are called dragons, but, like, a typical dragon has your 4 legs, 2 wings. But these dragons are specifically described as 2 wings, 2 back legs, because it is based in real-world anatomy of there are no vertebrates with 6 limbs. Like, that is... I'm not saying that we have to put all of that anatomy onto, like, Dracula and the Brides of Dracula. I'm just saying, when you have these 2 creatures making a child, making any kind of offspring, it should have some resemblance to either parent, and no, none of the three look alike. And it was bugging me so much because I'm like, these just seem different. They all seem different. Even if the children looked weird, so long as the brides of Dracula and Dracula looked similar in their bat forms, I think I wouldn't have that. I think it wouldn't have been so much of a glaring issue. I could have been like, oh yeah, the children are some fucked up thing of like, whatever. That's a human turned vampire, and then like the original vampire.
They got too many parents. And they're a bit overcooked. Have you thought about that?
They are quite overcooked.
They were birthed a long time ago.
They were.
And just put on ice.
Yeah. I'm getting into semantics of something that ultimately does not matter.
Wait, hold up. What does it have to do with werewolves?
I was just about to get to that.
Yeah.
One of the biggest things that I will be looking at for werewolves moving forward.
The Red Rockets.
Not their red rockets, no! Their bodily anatomy. Shut up. I'm so...
That's a pervert, everyone.
No, she's sitting across from me fucking giggling with a shit-eating grin right now. It's awful.
Love to eat shit.
Shut up! When a werewolf, no matter the movie, will get more points from me, the more quote-unquote anatomically correct it looks to me. Like what I would imagine would be anatomically correct if werewolves were real. Like what makes sense for a real world creature to exist.
I don't know about you, but I believe in werewolves. They are real. You ever heard of the dog man?
I'm going to kick your ass.
This is abuse.
Are you referring to the Rougarou and the dog?
No, I'm talking about the dog man.
The Ohio dog man?
No, I'm talking about the Michigan dog man.
Michigan dog man, that's what it is. Okay, well that's cryptids. We need to save that for a different episode.
Yeah, okay.
Okay. Well, see, I can agree with that.
All right, sign off.
I love cryptids. Is that it? Are we done talking?
Yeah. Give us a goodbye.
All right. Well, that has been the... I don't like how I started it. We're going to have to cut this.
I'm not cutting it.
No!
I choose what to cut. I do the work.
Monster. So anyways, that was the second episode of When the Wolfsbane Blooms. I don't know how to end it.
All right, let's say our catchphrase that we say every episode.
Oh,
Here we
no.
go. We're going to say it in unison. Here we go. Come on.
I don't know what it is.
Come on. If
If
the Wolfsbane... Come on, what are you doing?
What am I saying?
I don't know. I'm not making it up.
How could I possibly know what to say?
No, we're making it up together.
Oh, okay. If
All
the
right,
Wolfsbane blooms,
then
people
love
werewolves.
Wolfsbane.
Wolfsbane. What the actual fuck?
If the Wolfsbane blooms, people love Werewolfbane. Thank you.